right? So welcome back to the chapter 7 and 8 perpetual inventory exercise part 2. This is not a continuation, but it's just a second example of how to utilize chapter 7, which is we learned, which was the purchases, purchase returns, sales and sales returns, and how do we apply it, and how in chapter 8, how do we use the inventory worksheet to be able to see how the money changes, right? So in this case, this is exactly an example here where we're looking at June transactions, and this time, here's what you need to know. Your inventory method is perpetual, and it is LIFO, last in, first out, okay? Assume that sales tax is 8.25%. Okay, so what I want you to do here is I also have the journals for you to practice journalizing because, again, that is part of chapter 7. So let's also practice how to journalize our transactions so we can complete this. And again, here is your worksheet here, okay? All right, only difference is this has to say LIFO, so excuse me, this is LIFO. All right, so here's your inventory worksheet, and let's go ahead and get started. So, on June 3rd, we purchased 1,000 black mugs for $3.65 each with a freight of $100, and we placed it on an account from Cuppies Co. Terms were 5%, 15, net 30. Okay? So today's June 3rd. All right, we purchased 1,000 black mugs for $3.65 each on an account from Cuppies Co. with a $100 freight. So in this case, I need to journalize this transaction first. Here I've also included a chart of accounts to help you be able to determine what accounts you need to be using for this transaction. So, okay. So let's take a look at my chart of accounts because that's the rule of your 7 steps of transaction analysis, right? We determine a transaction has happened. Now let's take a look at the company's chart of accounts and see what accounts we will be needing to use. So in this case, because I'm journalizing a purchase of inventory, right? What accounts am I going to be using?
Inventory mags
Mm-hmm.
and the account payable because we are buying it on. We need to pay our copy company.
Good. All right. So in this case, we're going to be using account 150 and account 201. So let's go ahead and journalize. Today is June 3rd, right? We established that we're purchasing mugs, right? So that should be the first thing you have there because we're purchasing inventory, right? How do we increase our inventory? We increase it by debiting our inventory account, right? Because we're increasing our inventory, right? We bought inventory, all right? And we are also increasing a liability, right? Because now I owe Cuppies Co. money. Okay. Now, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and put my description in here so we can kind of understand here. So I purchased 1,000 mugs, right? Okay, at $3.65 each. Okay, with a freight of $100. Okay, so if you want to include that too, freight $100. Okay, we already know it's on an account. Oh, there you go. We have to say Cuppies Co. purchased. Cuppies Co. Right? Purchase 1,000 mugs at $3.65 each with a freight of $100, and we placed it on an account which they said that we'll get a 5% discount if we pay within 15 days. If not, the entire thing is due in 30. Okay, So let me verify if that was correct. If I got all the information, so $3.65 each with a freight of $100. So how much is my grand total that I purchased my mugs for?
$37.50.
$37.50, right? Because let me see. You could do the math here. 1,000 times $3.65 each plus $100 freight gives you $37.50. All right, I'm going to format this real quick. Okay. And then we know this is the same too. Okay, $37.50. Right. So now that we finished the journal, right, I'm going to go ahead and plug my answers into my worksheet. So today is June 3rd, right? We're going to skip the cost of goods sold because we didn't sell anything. We purchased 1,000 units at $3.65 each with a freight of $100. So in this case, what is my purchase price?
$36.50.
$36.50, right? We take a quantity times our unit cost here to give us $37.50. And then we add $100 to give our total cost to be
$37.50.
$37.50.
Since its LIFO cost of item is 3.75.
Okay. Cost per item is going to be $3.75. So now that we have that, we're going to carry our values over to my inventory on hand to let me know I have 1,000 units at $3.75 each, which gave me a grand total of $3,750. And this is where you can go ahead and create your running balance right at the bottom of the table here. So you know how many inventory items you have on hand at all times. So in this case, right now, I only have that 1,000. Okay, so equals sum. What am I doing? So equal sum. Right, I have 1,000 units right now currently available at a total cost of $3,750. Okay, and that's just back my first batch that I purchased. Okay, so then let's see what happened next. Okay, on June 5th, you end up returning 50 broken mugs for a full refund. Okay, so let me go ahead and take a look at the chart of accounts. I am returning 50 broken mugs for a refund. What do I need to use to journalize that I got a refund?
Accounts payable,
Mm-hmm.
and you're returning it. So you take mugs, wouldn't you?
Yes. In this case, I'm actually returning the product, right? Because I don't have all 1,000 items. I only have 950, right? I have to subtract the 50 mugs that were broken and get a refund for it. So in this case, because I never paid Cuppies Co., so therefore it's going to reduce my accounts payable, right? because in this case, I haven't paid them yet. So therefore, only thing that they can do, they can't give me money back if I haven't paid for something, right? So in this case, it's going to reduce the amount that I owe. And where am I taking the money out from? Well, in this case, I placed all 1,000 mugs in my mugs account. So where am I going to take the 50 mugs out from? Well, I got to take it out from my inventory. Now, let's go ahead and make my note here that I returned 50 mugs. Broken. Oh my gosh. Broken mugs at. What's the price right now for my mugs?
$375.
Okay, that's including the
But you
freight.
don't do your freight, so it's $365 is what they were at.
Correct. In this case, we can't refund freight, right? So it's going to be $3.65 each full refund, right? We're going to get all that money back, right? So how much am I actually expected to get back?
$182.50.
$182.50. Okay. So I'm going to get $182.50 back. Okay. And there you go. I'm good to go there. So I need to go ahead and take it out from my actual inventory. Okay. So it's 6.5 right now. Now, question is, how do I take out my inventory? Well, in this case, I am actually subtracting 50 units, right? And it costs me $3.65 each. But because I don't need to include freight, what would my total be for my refund?
$182.50.
Oh, whoops. I just did a double negative there. Okay, so in this case, I have negative 50 times $3.65. So I got my $182.50. So how do I take this out from my inventory? How do I take this out from my inventory? Well, in this case, we have to do a few calculations here, right? We know for a fact that this can't be correct, right? That means whatever this number is here, we have to kind of fix this equation here because it's not going to be $3.75 each, right? Right now, my total cost is $3,750, right? But because I made a refund, right, and I have to adjust my inventory accordingly, right? In this case, I end up refunding 50 units. So I have to actually edit the information right here because this is I'm doing LIFO, which is I have to keep my batches separate. So in this case, right, what is 1,000 minus 50? We should have 950 units left. In this case, you actually have to adjust the total cost because I'm no longer at 3,750, right? I actually have to adjust this to fit my number, right? Because I have to subtract out $182.50 because I got that as a refund. So that means I'm looking at a grand total cost of $3,567.50. Okay? So then, because now I have a new total cost and a new quantity, what do I need to recalculate?
Cost of item.
Cost per item, because now I end up returning some of the items, right? So that means my original purchase price is no longer going to be $3,650, right? I returned $182.50. So that means I'm gonna have a different amount of purchases plus my freight. So I need to divide it by my total cost by my new total quantity. So in this case, I have 3, 5, 6, 7, 50. In this case, you do need to type it out because if for any reason you change the quantity or change the total cost, your number will be messed up at that point. Okay? So then you're going to divide this by 950. So you want to verify that you didn't make any typos here. So $3,567.50 divided by 950. So what is my cost per item for this batch of inventory?
3.75526316.
Okay, awesome. All right, so that's my new cost per item for this particular batch of inventory because I had to make the necessary adjustments accordingly. All right. Okay, so that means I now have $950 or 950 units, giving me a grand total of $3,567.50. Okay. So now that I got that, I now need to go ahead and see what happened next. Okay. All right, so that very same day, right, after we made our return and refund and got a refund, right, we end up selling 100 mugs at $10 each, okay, for cash. Okay, so 100 mugs for $10 each for cash. So how do I journalize this? So let's take a look at my chart of accounts. I sold 100 mugs at $10 each, and we also have to assume that sales tax is 8.25%, and we sold it for what?
$10.
Yeah,
We sold it for $10. What?
cash.
Cash. So in this case, what account am I going to be using for this transaction?
Cash, mugs, and sales tax payable.
Close.
No, cost of goods sold comes later, doesn't it?
Cost of
Sales.
goods. Yes. Sales
Yeah.
first.
Instead of mugs.
And then mugs. Good. You have to sell something before you get rid of stuff, right?
Right.
So in this case, you got the transaction correct, but we have to separate it. Yeah. We need to recognize the sales first in order for us to adjust our inventory later. So in this case, we're getting cash. We sold our mugs and we're going to charge some sales tax, and then after that, then we'll go ahead and figure out what the cost of goods sold is and adjust our inventory accordingly. So in this case, we will use all of those accounts, but it has to be in this particular order first. So in this case, we're going to do cash for 102, sales tax is 230, sales is 401, cost of goods sold is 501, and then mugs is 150. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is we got to recognize that on June 5th, we sold something for cash. So in this case, cash comes first, which is account 102. And we had some sales, right, 401. And we had to charge some sales tax. Right, and then we can go ahead and recognize our cost of goods sold and then adjust our inventory accordingly by taking whatever the amount that we sold out from my inventory. So cost of goods sold was 501, mugs was 150. Okay, so let's break it down one at a time first. How many mugs did I sell for this day? What was my total sales? 1,000, right? Because I sold 100 mugs and I priced them at $10 each, right? So I sold $1,000 worth of mugs. How much is my sales tax?
825, no, 8250.
Good, right? For $82.50. So in grand total, how much cash did I receive from these sales?
1,082.50.
Good. All right. So then now this is where I need to stop and I need to go to my inventory worksheet because I need to know how much it cost me to sell those 100 items, okay? Not what I sold them for, but what it cost me, right? How much did it cost me to purchase those inventory? So that's exactly what we're going to do. So in this case, it's June 5th, right? We sold 100 units. Now in this case, I only have one batch of inventory, right? What's my current cost per item?
3.755263.2.
Good. So in this case, how much did it cost me to sell 100 of these items?
375.53.
Good. 375.53. Okay, so this is where I'm going to go ahead and update my inventory because I no longer have 950, right? I just sold 100 of them, so I should be at 850, right? And here, because I had to adjust my total cost, I also need to adjust my total cost here so my cost per item doesn't get affected after that, okay? So that's why I had you guys type that number in instead of cell reference. So in this case, I'm at 3567.50. 3567.50. And I just sold $375.53. So what is my new total cost going to be?
3.75525882.
3.755. Not my cost per item, my
Oh,
total cost.
yeah. I went backwards. Sorry.
No worries. So in this case, right, you never have to adjust your cost of goods cost per item because this one it stays the same. But in this case, that's because I sold something. Or I'm sorry, I returned something, right? That's why that was the only reason why I adjusted my cost per item. But in this case, this number never changes. That means the next time I sell something, right, it's still going to be at $3.7552.632. That never changes. Okay. So in this case, I'm at 850 because I sold 100 of $375.53 worth. I am now decreased my total cost to $3,191.97. Okay. Now again, if you choose to do it this way, where if you are more comfortable leaving that formula in there, where my quantity times my where is my cells at? Okay. And so if I am comfortable with leaving the total cost to have it like this, like how it was before, right? You can do that as well, and it still gives you the same answer, but you just want to be very careful because we're constantly moving through this, what do you call it? Cost, total cost and total quantity, right? Because we keep on changing those answers. You want to be very careful if you change that, and if you did cell reference, you can cause problems with your cells and formulas. So you have to be very, very, very careful when doing this. So in this case, I get $3,191.97, which we know is true, right? Because we already subtracted it out. So what you could do too, if you're worried about that, you can always make a little column on the right side here, just to keep track of it and making sure that when you do the calculations, that this is correct. Okay. So again, whatever means for you to keep your answers more accurate, do it. Okay. So in this case, I got that answer, so that means I only have 850 units left available to sell. And my total cost of goods sold is $375.53. So that is exactly what I need to put in my journal. Here is $375.53 is my answer. And I need to finish off my journal saying that I sold 100 units. Okay, sold 100 units. Hey, 100 mugs. Okay. Sorry, excuse me for 1 second. Okay. So there you go. Now that I finished that right there, let's see what happened next. Okay. So then, in this case, right, I finished June 5th. So let's see what happened next. June 10, we end up selling 250 mugs at $10 each to customer A on an account, and we gave customer A terms of a 10%, 15, net 30. So in this case, right, we sold to a customer, right, on an account. So let's take a look at my chart of accounts. How should I journalize this transaction here?
Checking, because it's a sale.
In this case, I sold to them on an account.
So it'd be accounts receivable,
It'd be accounts receivable, good.
mugs, and yeah, accounts receivable and mugs.
All
And then
right.
cost of goods sold.
Okay, so there you go. You made the same exact mistake. What is my transaction
sales.
at hand? What did I do
Yeah.
first before I adjust my inventory?
We sold the suckers.
We
So
we have
sales,
exactly.
tax.
We
Oh,
need
sales tax.
we need to recognize that we sold the items first before we can take it off our shelves, right? So
I
in,
did the same thing, Abram.
yeah, so then so in this case, right, we need to record that we actually sold the merchandise first before we can go ahead and update it to the system, right? It's exactly right when you go to the counter, right? When they scan your barcode, right? What are you doing first before it's updating in the system? The customer has to pay, right? Or you have to sell the items to them for the machine to say, okay, now you can go ahead and update your inventory. So that's first things first is you need to recognize that you sold the merchandise first before recording that you're going to adjust it. So in this case,
So first you do cost of goods sold, then accounts receivable, then
no,
mugs.
backwards.
Oh, so accounts receivable first,
Right,
then
because
cost of goods sold, but then you do the mugs.
yes.
Yeah, goods
Okay.
sold and mugs are together, and accounts receivable, sales, and sales tax are together.
Yes.
Okay.
So in this case, right, let's focus on one transaction at a time. We're going to sell the product first, and then we're going to update our product afterwards, okay? So in this case, I sold it to them on an account. So in this case, we have an account receivable, okay? Since we sold something, right, we have to record the sales and the sales tax. So in this case, my account receivable is 103. Okay. So it is now June 10. All right. And we have, right, we placed it, we sold to customer A, right? We have to record the sales first, saying that we sold the product to them. Okay. And then we have to charge them sales tax for that item. Okay. And then we can go ahead and do the cost of goods sold and then adjust our mugs accordingly, okay? So in this case, let's first think about it. If I sold, let's see, what was the scenario, right? If I sold 250 mugs at $10 each, right? That's my sales price, right? If I sold 250 mugs at $10 each, what is my grand total sales?
$2,500.
Right? Because we sold 250 mugs at $10 each. So that's $2,500, right? Right? Now, how much sales tax am I subject to have to charge my customer? Right? Because if they're buying it in store, they have to pay for sales tax. So what is the amount of sales tax that I will be collecting from this sales?
$205.25.
I got 206. Let me double check my formula real quick. So I did equal round 2,500 times 8.25%. Yeah, I got 206.25. Okay. So in grand total, how much does customer A actually owe me now that I charge them full price?
$2706.25.
Right? That's how much money that they owe me, right? Because accounts receivable means they don't pay me now, they pay me later. Right? Even though I sold the mugs to them, I gave them my products, right? They owe me because they said, I'm going to owe you on an account. I promise to pay you back later. You just invoice me, send me the bill, and I'll send you a check later on. Okay? So that's the idea of accounts receivable. So now that we sold my items, right? Now I need to I need to adjust my inventory saying I just got rid of 250 mugs. But how much is it going to cost me to get rid of those 250 mugs? Is where I need to solve for the cost of goods sold. So in this case, that's exactly what we need to do. We need to figure out how much it cost me, right? If I originally purchased X amount of inventory, right? How much is it going to cost me to sell X amount of coffee mugs? So in this case, that's exactly what I'm doing, right? It's June 10. I just sold 250 mugs. What is my cost per item right now? How much does it cost me per mug right now?
Same as the one before.
Yes.
$400.
Right, because this is LIFO, right? We don't care about we do care about the exact batch of inventory that we are selling. So in this case, I only have one batch of inventory for now, right? So in this case, right now that 850 batch of inventory, right, is currently costing $3.755262. So in this case, that's exactly how much each item is going to cost me. So if I were to sell 250 items, which cost me $3.75 each, right? How much is my grand total cost of goods sold?
It's $938.82.
Good, right? $938.82. So now, do I no longer have 850 units, right? Because I just sold 250, right? So this is where I have to go ahead and adjust my inventory because I no longer have 850 because I just sold 250. So how much should I have left now?
$600.
I should have 600. And if 600 times that 3.755262 should give me $2,253.16. Well, let's double confirm that, okay? If I started out with, okay, so it should be 15. All right. So in this case, if I were to go this way, yeah, it should be 15 cents, not 16. So in this case, 31.91.97 minus 938.82 cents should give me, yes, it should give me 15 cents. So in this case, we have to keep in mind that this is 2,253.15 opposed to the other one. But that's if you are utilizing the formula right here is because this one, right, we have a half a penny. That means if we're going to round my cost of goods sold, I have to unround, or in this case, adjust my inventory on hand because I don't have an eighth of a penny, right? You can't have an eighth of a penny of inventory. Just like you can't sell, or it can't cost you an eighth of a penny for the cost of goods sold, right? It has to be in terms of dollar value because you purchase it at a dollar value. It doesn't mean you can't have an invisible penny. So in this case, you need to adjust it accordingly to make sure that this is the 225, right? But in this case, I'll just keep my formula there, and then on the side, I know for a fact that it's 15, not 1.58. Okay? Just so that I can save myself some time with that extra calculation there. Okay? So this is what I solved for, right? That it cost me to sell those 250 items, right? It cost me $938.82. $958.30 95882. 93882. Okay. And what I'm going to say here is sold 250 mugs to customer A, and I gave customer A terms of a 10% discount if they pay me within 15 days. If not, they have to pay me in full in 30 days. Okay? So that's that transaction right there. All right? Good so far? So let's go ahead and move on to the 12th here. June 12th, we end up purchasing 500 mugs at $3.75 each with a freight of $50. And we placed it on an account from Cuppy's Co. and they gave us another term for this inventory here to be 5%, 15 net 30. So in this case, we just made another purchase here. So how do I record a purchase of new inventory?
Mugs and accounts payable.
Good, right? Mugs and accounts payable. So here I have the exact transaction right here. I can go ahead and utilize my copy and paste feature, right, to save me extra time to, instead of having to type out everything again, right, I already have it. And then all I have to do is just plug in my date and adjust my description. So in this case, I did buy from Cuppy's Co., but I only purchased 500 units, okay? And it cost me $3.75, okay? With a freight of $50, okay? But the terms is exactly the same. So you see how I just saved some extra time here by just copying the entry down here. All I have to do is just modify what needs to be, and I have the exact account numbers and everything there. So in this case, how much did it cost me to purchase my inventory? So we got 500 units at $3.75 each, plus $50 freight.
It's $1,925.
$1,925. Good. So let's plug it into my inventory worksheet because now I'm done with my journal. So it is June 12th, and we end up purchasing 500 units at $3.75 each with a freight of $50. So what is my total purchase price here?
$1,875.
Okay, plus my 50,
$1,925.
1925. Good. Now in this case, because this is LIFO, I need to keep my batches separate. What is my cost per item here?
It's 3.85.
Okay, whoops, my quantity, I put them in dollars by accident. It's supposed to be in number format. So let me fix that real quick. Okay, and then I'm gonna hide. Actually, no, I'm gonna change it to number. So let me. There we go, number. There we go. Okay, and I think I'm going to. I don't want the decimal places there, so I'm gonna hide this. Okay, so there you go. So good, right? We get a total of $9.25, and I get $3.85. Is that even? Let's see. Yes, it is. So that means we're gonna enter this into my inventory on hand, right? That I have 500 units, right, at $3.85 each, and that's gonna give me my total cost of the 1925. Okay, so that means I have a grand total inventory, right? My first batch plus my second batch is going to give me a total of 1,100 units at a grand total cost of $4,178, and that's supposed to be 15 cents, not 16. Okay, because we have that eighth of a penny there. Okay, so in that case, there you go. So now let's see what happened next. Right? That very same day, you end up returning 100 of those mugs because they were the wrong size, okay? You end up getting large 16-ounce cups instead of the medium size 12-ounce cup, right? Okay, from Cuppies Co. And then again, Cuppies Co. offered you a 25% discount because they sent you the wrong items and you said, okay, I still can sell these mugs, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with this inventory. They're not damaged. You could still sell them. Okay? So I said, okay, I'll accept your 25% because you're using that to keep our business, but also to reprimand their mistake. So in this case, you accept it. So in this case, right, I still kept the 100 mugs. The only difference is these 100 mugs are discounted. So how do I get a refund, a 25% refund or discount on these 100 mugs? How do I do that? So let's take a look at my chart of accounts.
We have purchase discount.
Not a purchase discount.
Oh, wait, what did I use? I used account payable
Mm-hmm.
and then mags.
Yes, because in this case, you can't use a purchase discount here because you didn't purchase those inventory items as an expense. Where did you originally put them all when you purchased them?
Mugs.
You shove them all into mugs. So therefore, you need to discount those 100 mugs and take them out from mugs because that's where you put them. Okay? You didn't put them in a purchase expense account. You put them directly into the inventory. So therefore, you need to take that money out from inventory. So in this case, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I never paid because I just received the items the very same day. So therefore, how is it that I paid them? You didn't. So in this case, they're going to adjust your inventory accordingly because, right? They're giving you a discount, right? And they need to adjust what you owe them because you never paid them in the first place. Okay. Now, if I'm going to go ahead and record this. Okay. If I attempted to return 100 large mugs, right? What is my current cost that I purchased them originally at? How much did it cost me to buy these mugs? How much did I purchase them at?
$375.
Yes, because again, we opened our new batch of inventory, so these two are related to each other because that's the first thing you got to do as an inventory manager. You need to open all the boxes to ensure one thing first. Did you get the correct number of items and are they the correct order? And in this case, that's where we found out that 100 of them was sent to us and it actually was one of the boxes and that 100 mugs were all large sizes. So in this case, that's exactly what we're referring to is usually the batch that you just purchase, okay? So they're $3.75 each, okay? Now in this case, are you getting a full refund?
No, we are just getting 25% off.
Good, okay? So in this case, I'm going to write here, wrong size, 25% discount, okay? We're not getting a refund. We're getting it, they were the wrong size and we're getting a 25% discount refund instead of the whole entire refund, right? Or discounted price, okay? So let's figure it out. How much is my discount going to be? So I need to figure out what those 100 mugs at $375 is going to cost me, right? To calculate the 25% discount. Because I'm only getting a portion of the money back, not all the money back. So in this case, what is 25% of 375?
I have $93.75.
Good. $93.75. So let's go ahead and adjust that second batch of inventory accordingly. So in this case, right, 912. Are you actually returning the product?
No, we're just price adjusting.
Good. We're just adjusting the price because for those 100 mugs, we got discounted, right? We're not getting a discount off of the entire batch of inventory, right? Who is going to give you a refund or a discount on the correct items that you purchase? You agree that that's what the price you're going to pay for, so you cannot be discounting everything. You only discount the items that were wrong. Okay, so in this case, we're going to do the same calculation here under the total cost here, right? What I'm going to do here is I'm going to throw in that negative, right? 100 times $3.75, right? And we're going to get 25%. So that should give us negative $93.75. So now I need to adjust my inventory accordingly, right? My quantity is the same. The only difference here is my total cost, right? So in this case, I need to figure out what 1925 is minus my $93.75. So what is my grand total cost now?
I have $1,831.25.
Good. All right. 1,831.25. So therefore, I have to adjust my price, my cost per item here. So in this case, what is 1831.25 divided by my quantity of 500? I need to type in my numbers here because I can't cell reference because these numbers are going to constantly change.
I have 3.6625.
Good. 3.66 and a quarter of a penny. Okay. So there you go. So now my prices have been adjusted and so on and so forth. Okay. But my quantity is still the same at 1,100. The only thing is my total cost is different now. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at what happened next. Okay. It's now June 18. Okay. And we end up, let me see. Oh, wait, I missed one. June 16. Okay, so June 16. We end up selling 600 mugs for $10 each on an account, okay, to customer B, okay? And the terms we gave them was 10%, 10%, 10 net 30, okay? Because maybe we're charging them a little more, so we kind of give them a little incentive to pay us back sooner than customer A, right? Customer A gets to take 15 days, right? But customer B, because they're charging so much on their account, we gave them a different term. So this one is a 10% 15, okay? If they pay within 10 days. But if not, they have 30 days to pay in full. So in this case, how am I going to record that I sold 600 mugs at $10 each to customer B on an account? Right? We have to recognize that we sold to them first before we adjust our inventory. So,
Since they are buying it on the account, we need account receivable, and we made a sale, and then we need to charge them sales tax.
Good. So let me see if this is enough. Let me see. Accounts receivables, sales. So I got to split my transaction in half. Now, in this case, we've already done this exact transaction, right? We sold to customer A on an account, didn't we not? So in this case, where is it? So there you go, customer A, right? And we're going to have to put a note here because we're splitting the transaction on the different journal pages here, right? So there's that one on June 16. June 16. Again, June 16. All right, and we're going to say that we sold 600 mugs. And we gave them a 10% discount if they pay within 10 days. If not, it's due in 30. Okay? And then I need to also recognize that I also sold to customer B. Right? So therefore, I would definitely need to update my inventory. So I'm on page 2 of my journal here. And I sold 600 mugs to customer B. And then, of course, you can keep the terms as well if you want to. Okay. So let's deal with the first one first. So if I sold 600 mugs, okay, let me see where I'm at. If I sold 600 mugs at $10 each to customer B, then how much sales did I collect from customer B? Okay, so if I sold 600 units at $10 each, how much did what was my grand total sales here?
It's $6,000.
$6,000, okay? And what is my tax?
I have $495.
Okay, so that means in grand total, I should have got $6,495. So right there, almost $6,500 worth of sales. Okay, and because I sold 600 units, how much is my total cost of goods sold? So let's go ahead and go into my inventory worksheet to solve for my answer. So in this case, I just sold 600 units to my customer B, on the 16th. So let's take a look at my inventory, right? If I'm using the rules of LIFO, which batch am I going to sell first?
The most recent one.
The most recent one at 500 units at a grand total of 1831.25. In this case, am I going to get rid of all of it or some of it?
That's the question I had too, because we had the same problem, similar problem in the class. Because 100 out of 500 is a different size.
In this case, we'll just call it, let's just say in general, okay? In general, because you're supposed to actually take that 100 out anyway and put it somewhere else. But in this case, generally speaking, if I were to use the rules of LIFO, how would that work?
So we can just ignore the fact that customers see bought that 100 large came by mistake size later.
Yes.
We can just,
well,
okay.
I mean, okay, fine. Well, let's go ahead and just do it in real life, okay? If that was really the case, right? If we really had to do it that way, that means out of this 500, we can only sell 400, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's just do it that way then. Let's apply that knowledge in there. So if we knew that we sold regular cups to customer B, that means since we know that we have to separate that 100 units because they are the large size, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I can only sell 400 of them.
Yes.
So in this case, 400. Now, what's my cost per item right now?
For the first 400, it's 3.6625.
Okay, so in this case, what's my grand total here?
I have $1,465.
Okay, good. So that means, let's go ahead and update my inventory because I still have 100 units left, right?
Yes.
Okay. And if I were to sell this, right, was it 1831.25? And I sold 1465. How much should I have left?
366.25.
Good. So in this case, that's my first batch that I sold, right? So
Yes.
then how many more do I need to keep selling?
So we take 200 out of that first 600 left.
Okay, good. And I'm going to go ahead and put in this right here because I sold 600 units, so I need to calculate how much my grand total cost is. So if I sold 200 more at 37552632, how much is my total cost of goods sold for selling those 200 units?
I got $751.05.
Okay, good. $751.05. So therefore, I need to update my inventory, right? Because I no longer have 600 units. I have
400
left, right? And then
Yes.
1502. Wait, hold on. Because I put that formula there. 2,253,15 minus
751.
751.05. I
Yes.
should get $1,502.10.
Yes.
Okay. So then that's going to give me a total left over. If we are taking that into consideration, right, we have 100 of those units left from that last batch because those were extra large cups, right? And then we have a total of 500 units available to sell at 1868.35. Okay, so that's how much we have left in inventory. Okay, but here, how much did it cost me to sell all 600 units? Well, if 400 cost me $14.65 and then that 200 cost me $751.05, I should have a grand total of $2,216.05 that it cost me to sell those 600 units. Okay, so in this case, what should I do with that? I'm going to journalize that 2/2/1605. Okay? Good. All right, we have just about enough time to do the last problem here before we go on break. So even though I sold to customer B, all right, yeah, let's go ahead and do June 18. So then on June 18, customer B decides to return 100 mugs for a full refund. They decided to return 100 mugs for a full refund. So how do I journalize that? So here, let's look at my chart of accounts. I sold to customer B, and now they want to return 100 of those mugs for a full refund.
We are taking sales return allowance,
Sales returns and allowances. What else?
and then we are giving them sales tax back.
We got to give their money back for sales tax. Yes. What else?
And then they owe us now less, so we need to adjust the account receivable too.
Good. So that's exactly correct. So in this case, sales returns and allowances is 406. All right. 406. And it is now June 18. Sales, returns, and allowances. We're going to give them back their sales tax payable money. And we're going to reduce their accounts receivable account. Okay. Now, if I sold each mug at $10 each, how much sales returns am I actually going to be refunding?
$1,000.
$1,000, okay?
So
Now,
the tax will make it to 8250.
okay. Okay.
So we are reducing the customer's account by $1,082.50.
Good. All right. What else did they do?
We also need to put the mugs back into inventory.
Yes, we do, right? And what is my other account that I need to undo?
Um, so we also needed to reverse the cost of goods sold.
Yes, because in this case, it's as if we never sold it in the first place. Cost of goods sold. Okay. So we need to figure out how much that's going to be because we have to look at our inventory worksheet. Now, assuming, right, that 100 units are the extra large ones, we understand that is technically our last batch, but we already sold out all of our regular coffee mugs. So in this case, so if I were to put the money back, how would I put the money back? If right now I only have my, realistically, that 400 batch of inventory left in my inventory.
We are sticking to the rule of the price of the batch available.
Correct. So in this case, I only have one batch, right? Because that 100 batch is my extra large coffee mugs. Those don't count, right?
No, right.
So
we go with 3.7552632.
Exactly. So in this case, I have to reverse and re-put back that inventory according to whichever batch is available. So in this case, I only have that 400 batch available. So in this case, I need to put back negative 100 because I am reversing the cost of goods sold. And right now, the only batch I have available is that 400 units at 375.52632. So in this case, how much is my total cost of goods sold going to be reversed? For what amount?
We are getting $375.53.
Good. 375 and 53 cents. So in this case, I need to add it back into my inventory. So I don't have 400, I have 500 left. And if I am currently at 1502.10 plus 375.53, what is my grand total cost of goods sold? I'm sorry, what is my grand total cost?
I am 1,877.63.
Okay. Now, in this case, why am I not adjusting my cost per item? In this case, right? They're still the same price. They're still the same cost, right? You're just putting it back into inventory. So in this case, even if you sold it, right, which we've done before, right? We sold 100 units at that price before. Ace gave us the same exact amount. So in this case, we don't need to adjust anything because at the end of the day, they're still being priced at $3.75535263, right? They still cost the same. There's no additional extra cost or anything else different besides this, okay? So now we add it back in, so we need to reverse the cost of goods sold by $375.53. So that's exactly what I need to do. $375.53. Okay. And we're going to make a note here that customer B returns 100 mugs for full refund. Okay. All right. So let's do the last transaction here for the 18th, and we'll go on break after this, okay? So last thing that we did here was we end up selling 200 mugs at $10 each for cash. So we end up selling 200 mugs for $10 each for cash. So, we've done this transaction before, right? Because we sold for cash. So we need to identify that we sold our items first before we can adjust our inventory here. Okay? So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this transaction here, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it right here. Okay? And this is for the 18th of June. So in this case, if I sold, how many did I sell? So I sold a total of 200 mugs for $10 each for cash. Okay? Okay. If I sold 200 mugs for $10 each, what is my total sales?
$2,000.
Okay.
And
And
then tax is $165.
so in grand total, we got $2,166 worth of cash. Oops, went a little too far there. So then now, because I sold 200 units, I need to figure out how much it's going to cost me to sell all those units. Okay? So I have to do cost of goods sold for 200 units. Since I'm going to choose to ignore that 100 units because those are extra large cups, how much is it going to cost me per item? Right? So what is, if I'm looking at my 500 batch, right, which is basically my only batch of inventory I have left for my regular cups, right? How much?
For 200, I have 751.05.
751.05. Okay? Which is exactly what we sold up here, right? 200, okay? So 751.05. So now let's adjust my inventory because I no longer have 500, right? I have 300 left. Oops. I have 300 left. If I'm at 1877.63, is that right? Okay, 1877.63 minus $751.05. I should get a new grand total cost of $1126.58. Okay. All right. So I should have 400 units available, right, including the extra large cups, and a grand total of $14.92.83 in my inventory. And how much it cost me was $751.05 to sell 200 units. So $751.05. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here. We're going to go on a quick break here. And then when we come back from the break, we will resume the problem. Okay?